We are back. We're talking about All Out. MJF and Daniel Garcia was a much better match than I thought it was going to be.
The expectations were not as high as the resultant actual match itself. But, MJF is hard to have a bad match with that.
It really is. And
even Daniel Garcia, he's decent.
Yeah, he is decent.
Yeah.
He just has the
charisma. He has the charisma of a bologna sandwich.
But at the same time, he's a good wrestler.
Yeah.
He's a young kid. Put him in a farming system like NXT, work on the character.
Yep.
And maybe we'll see some more success from him.
Right.
Jack Perry really shined for me in this match.
Well, he needed to because this was the world title match. It needed to happen, and he did deliver.
He did. And the one thing that I really put myself on this is that my expectations, once again, were very low, but he did feel like a star. Mm-hmm. I think he's actually really starting to get into this heel gimmick that I'm really starting to dig.
Yeah.
I like the custom TBS champion. I liked how the Bucks came out with him. Mm-hmm. The theme song was great. His moveset is good. The reactions were fine. I liked everything about this match was good, and I gave him a lot of shit.
Yeah.
But I almost have to eat my own words after this match.
Right.
Now, he was against Bryan Danielson.
Right. Which, again, you cannot have a bad match with Bryan Danielson, so he probably did a lot of the carrying of the match.
Right.
Which I couldn't tell at the time, but he probably did. He probably timed the match the way that it was timed and all that stuff.
Oh, yeah.
It was just delivered well.
Yep, it was. But once again, we get into the situation where AEW's regular shows are awful and nobody cares, but then they get to pay-per-view and they're always really good.
Right.
It's so
weird.
The juxtaposition is like jarring almost. Right. There we go. The betrayal, the actual betrayal of Bryan Danielson was done well.
Yes, it was.
Now we'll talk about some of the weird stuff that happened, but at the same time, I like the betrayal.
I do like the best part for me is that Pac is kind of entering into the Blackpool Combat Club. Obviously, with the Lucha Brothers probably on their way out, it makes sense. And then for Claudio and Jon Moxley to lead this heel turn,
right,
makes a lot of sense.
Yep. And also the great thing that I saw was they did not attack Wheeler.
No, Wheeler Yuta is, I think he's torn because obviously.
No. What happened was, I'm not sure if you saw, but during the attack, Pac held Wheeler Yuta back. Wheeler did not attack Pac.
No.
He did not attack Claudio.
No.
They just sort of left it at that. Now, they're trios champions.
Right.
But that was done really well, where they're like, this is a targeted attack.
Yeah.
We don't want to hurt you.
Right.
We want to hurt him.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the explanation will be later, and because
I
do this, I'll watch it.
The idea, I think, is that Wheeler Yuta might be on the fence about the association he has, especially because of Wheeler's because of the tutelage that Danielson has with Wheeler. So I think that there's a bit of a conflict there. But yes, the intentional and non-attacking of Wheeler Yuta made a lot of sense.
Yep. And also, it was done well.
It was.
I love how AEW does the presentation of the lights out stuff. Mm-hmm. It always does feel like
the show is over, and now we're getting to something where
this is now. I don't like the referee doing like a pinfall. That was annoying, but at the same time, they always do this lights out thing really well. I love it. I think it's great. Now, I think it would be really cool if they did like this big promo package. People start filing out, and they do it in like the parking lot or something, and all the fans can stand around and watch it.
I think logistically that would just be a nightmare.
Probably, but it would be cool.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe do like a cage where people can climb up, but that would also not be a good idea. This match was very, very, very good.
But again, Will Ospreay
can't necessarily go wrong right now.
Nope.
He's definitely doing some of the best work, and Pac really showed how good he is. I mean, he's a valuable asset to AEW. He's a very good heel.
Yeah.
He's still very athletic. He still is. He looks believable.
Right.
He might be small, but the dude is jacked as shit. Also, kind of a cool thing. If Pac won this match, he would have won the double champions twice because he was the first double champion.
Yeah.
What were the titles that he held? It was the All-Atlantic champion, which was the international champion before, and the trios champions.
Yes, and he would have held it twice.
That would have been really cool if they did that, but it's Will Ospreay. They're not going to have Will Ospreay lose right now.
No.
With the good, we have to take the bad.
All right.
Daddy Magic is fucking obnoxious at commentary.
Yes, he is.
He was a pimple on that goddamn thing. It was so annoying.
And it's like, how many people do you need on commentary?
I know. It just now he was replacing Nigel McGuinness, but he does not have the je ne sais quoi to do commentary, and it was incredibly distracting for that first couple of matches. Now we know the reason now that MJF is going to be going. Why did he have to win?
Right. It didn't make any sense.
Yeah, if you were going to do this where Daniel Garcia was going to attack him anyway, why not Daniel Garcia beat MJF?
So the reason is because of the contract situation with with Garcia. That is the reason.
They still haven't signed him?
No, they still have not signed him to a new contract.
Huh.
So I think that was part of the reason.
Interesting.
That's just what I heard from the almighty dirt sheets.
Yes. Also, the big curtain that MJF had that said "Thank me later" fell on the crowd.
Yeah, not a good look, AEW.
Because I mean, even though it might be a cloth, I don't know how thick that thing is.
Yeah,
it has to be
it's probably going to be heavy as well.
Yep, and that's sort of why that was sort of weird. I think Daniel Garcia bumped into it and it snapped off. It's like, what the hell was it being held on by twigs?
I know.
Super weird. But the attack was very odd, at least at the moment, and Daniel Garcia losing was very strange. I think so probably would have been advantageous and better overall if Daniel Garcia still won the match. He still stood tall, so why not him win the match?
Right.
The tag team match was very underwhelming. It was a weird match with a weird finish. It was a weird finish.
Yeah, it was.
So it didn't ruin the match for me. It was a fine match, but at the same time, that ending was just straight bizarre.
Yeah.
Super bizarre. Could they have gotten a better bag to do this? I mean, the crowd saying this is murder is did you hear them? That was really funny. But it's like, did they have to get like a produce bag from Target?
Yes, they did.
It's so thin. It's
it adds to the je ne sais quoi. Did
John Moxley just grab the lunch? Did he just grab his sandwich bag that they had in his little tote after his bologna sandwich? And it's like, oh, this is a fun thing. Let's do this.
Yeah.
How about like a piano wire or like a bag that doesn't look like it's like super, super thin where all you have to do is this, because they did it anyway.
Right.
It looked silly. It's so silly. And then the one last thing, and this thing pissed me off. It didn't. The syringe.
Yeah, that was cringe as fuck.
The steel chair shot to the head was there, but there is a certain level of responsibility that you have to have for a presentation. And a syringe in the mouth is a bit much.
Yeah.
Do you know how dangerous a syringe is?
Yeah.
You do not monkey around with a needle.
No.
And you have a certain level of responsibility, especially with young kids that were there in front row. And there you have a guy putting a syringe in his mouth. What did this do other than shock value?
Right. I mean, that's pretty much what it was.
But now, where do you go from here?
Right.
Are they just going to do a Saw match?
I don't know.
Where they're going to throw each other in things from Saw the movies?
Oh, my mind came to the Monty Python Monty Python, the Holy Grail, where King Arthur just starts slicing limbs off.
Right.
It's just a flesh wound.
It's just a flesh wound. But that steel chair shot was brutal. And if that was like the ending of it, it's like, okay, that was a good ending.
Right.
But the syringe was so not necessary. Nope. And there were quite a few people who were like, this is a bit much. And the rest of the match itself was fine. They did some spots on a cinder block, and it's like, okay, that harkens back to when Swerve used cinder blocks. I thought it was a perfectly fine match up until the ending.
Yeah.
But Swerve is taking some time off now, so
because
half of the roster is taped up by that tape stuff. So
half the roster is taped up, the other half's injured.
Yep. And the other one is the end of the fight. So when we come back, we have a match.
Yes.